SFB Addict here. So, what client or what method should you use to play Starfleet Battles online? Well, SFB Online is custom built to do specifically Starfleet Battles. So it is perhaps the better client of all of them out there to do this. There are, however, a few problems, in my opinion, regarding it. One is they're using counters which are direct analogs of the official Starfleet Battles counters, and this means that if you are on a smaller monitor and you zoom out the map, you lose the ability to distinguish what the counters are. Now, there used to be a cartoon set of counters available with version 1 or 2 of the client, but they've chosen to revert specifically and only to official SFB counters. It used to be, though, that you could put in your own counter set and use whatever you wanted. Not that big a deal. The other drawback that I see is the fact that you've already bought the actual paper copy or cardboard copy of the board game. It just kind of strikes me the wrong way that in order to continue to play the game, you need to constantly pay additional fees. That said, there is a fairly large pool of players, fairly large pool of very good players on Starfleet Battles Online, and there are official tournaments. But not everybody can afford to pay to do this. It's just a fact. They're already paying for everything else in life, including the actual internet connection. And for some people, it just doesn't leave enough left over to pay for something like Starfleet Battles Online. Now, there are other clients out there. There is the Vassal client, not as polished as Starfleet Battles Online when it comes to SFB, but it isn't dedicated to Starfleet Battles. It actually has 1,800 plus other card, dice, and board games that you can play with it. And a couple of those happen to be a couple of other ADB games. Starfleet Battles Force being one of them. So Starfleet Battles Force is the card game. Federation and Empire is another. And for this one, the actual files are actually directly on the ADB website. And Federation Space is an old Task Force Games game. I believe it was also an ADB game. I may be wrong on that. But that is also on Vassal. But again, there are other clients out there other than the SFB Online and Vassal. There is Roll20. This apparently is a fairly popular gaming platform. My only problem with it is that, well, again, it says you can have a free account, but they are going to be collecting your personal data, name, email, and IP address. Another one is fantasygrounds.com, but again, it's a monthly fee. Although there is a free account, you seem to be limited to people that are paying $10 a month. D20 Pro, again, it's going to be a pay-to-play service, although there is a free trial. Yet another one is Skirmish. It's in beta right now, so for now it's free, but it will eventually probably have a monthly fee as well. Yet another is powered VTT, and this one is as well a monthly fee with a 0 sign up with limited abilities, but it is free. Fabletop plays in the browser. Don't know how well it would play for Starfleet battles, but it's there. But quite frankly, you don't even really need a client. My very first video, I actually just took a security camera, dangled it above my desk, pointed it at a map with counters and real dice, real counters, and I used a paint program to damage the SSD sheet and fill out the energy allocation form. So you don't even really need a client, just a web camera and a chat client, something like Discord, Google Hangouts, or Skype, or something other that does the same thing. So there are lots of ways of playing Starfleet Battles out there, although I still think that Starfleet Battles Online is probably the best client. But again, I have an issue with buying the board game, paying for my internet, and then paying a fee on top of that for Starfleet Battles Online. And I did have an account years ago, and one of the things I found with it is that while there were a number of people that were online and playing it, they just never seemed to be online when I was available to be online to play. But then again, I'm on the Atlantic coast, the Atlantic time zone, and my time zone is going to be different than many of the other players. So me, knowing that I can do the entire thing just using a web camera and a voice client, I'm more than perfectly happy with just simply sticking to Vassal and using the Cadet module, because it will provide me with a map and counters, dice, a way to simultaneously reveal actions. It has the sequence of play charts, the impulse movement charts, even for the 32 impulse game, the damage allocation chart, both for the cadet game and for the full game, and it does have the ability to do SSDs, although I am limited to cadet SSDs for the most part, and 4 specific full-scale SFB SSDs, but there is a way to do other SSDs. You can simply use paper SSDs in front of yourself and your opponent, and just use the client for the map, the dice, the DAC, and the impulse collar, or you could actually build an SSD directly in the client using the tools that are in the client, sort of like a paint program kind of thing, where you can slap in some clickable boxes that you can label and just do a very quick rough outline of just the weapon mounts if you want, or you can spend a couple of hours building the entire SSD. But the problem here is that you're not allowed to build a library that's easily distributable to everybody, so you're limited to just building your own stuff and saving in a save game and loading it up when you want to play it, and then transferring, well, I shouldn't say transferring, having your opponent synchronized to you so that he has access to the save game you've created, and then he can go into the specific species or race and then delete all the ships that he's not using down to the one that he is using, and then play the game. And of course there is a way of just simply using text SSDs. This is one ugly method of doing text SSDs. All the systems are listed, as there is a counter with shields surrounding it, and you just simply click on the field and you can input new information. Another method is to use a counter that has your shields on it and some of your electronic warfare information, and that text SSD has a window that can open, and you fill in your various systems with the information that's on your paper copy of the SSD. But one benefit that Vassal has over the other various clients is it does have a way of inputting a simultaneous order, waiting for your opponent to put in that simultaneous order, and you can both reveal your orders at the same time. Of course, Starfleet Battles Online executes that much better, but it is available through Vassal, where it may not be through the other clients. But frankly, use whatever method you prefer, where you actually have access to opponents who are willing to play. But consider recording your games and sharing them online. You're not going to make any money sharing them online, but there's lots of people that would enjoy seeing some Starfleet Battles games. Anyway, that's it for the vid. Have fun playing Starfleet Battles.